So, hey, and welcome back to the Expert Edge. I just got off an amazing session that I'm excited to bring you today, which is all about Instagram growth strategies from a true Instagram expert. Her name's Evita. She is such a blessing. She's a part of our program. She also runs $1 million coaching business. And she's just a rock star with helping people to grow their exposure, their reach, their amplification on Instagram. And in today's session, we dive deep into how to accelerate, even if you're just starting out on Instagram, and how very much like Instagram, there is so much opportunity on Instagram right now. To be quite frank, it's one of my favorite platforms. And it's my favorite. I'll just say it's my favorite platform to be on. And so I love Instagram. I've got a kind of a bit of a love for Instagram, and it's my thing that I like to hang out on. If you ever DM me, you're pretty much going to get me. Let's get into today's session with Evita, all about growing and scaling your Instagram. Hey, it's Colin, and you are listening to the Expert Edge podcast. I was a professional speaker for over a decade, and now I focus on helping coaches, speakers, and course creators to speak and sell on virtual and live stages. The Expert Edge podcast is weekly content focused on helping you build your expert business. We cover marketing, storytelling, sales, communication skills, and so much more. Thanks for taking the time to tune in, and make sure you subscribe and follow us on all our social channels so you don't miss a thing. Let's listen to today's episode. Evita Barwise, welcome to the Expert Edge.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be here, Colin.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I'm ecstatic about sharing you with my audience because I know so many of the listeners of the Expert Edge know that growing your Instagram, growing your personal brand is a really important part of growing your expert business. We met initially on Instagram. I think
we did.
I think you direct messaged me because you're a student in one of our programs.
Yes.
And then we just got chatting, and then I know you joined some other programs. And so it's just been a pleasure. I just want to say having you in my world, and the contribution you make is just incredible. And I know you're going to do this on the podcast. So guys, all you listeners, buckle up. This is going to be fire when it comes to strategies for growing your personal brand, especially on Instagram. So Evita, do you want to share with the audience what you do, how you help people, and then a little bit about kind of how you got into it?
Okay, so as you've mentioned, so I am an online business coach, and I help business owners grow and scale their business using Instagram. So I have personally experienced it myself, not just with the recent business that I have, but prior to that, I also had another business that I grew and scaled from scratch just using the platform. So I truly believe in the power of Instagram. All organic, no ads. I'm not saying that I don't believe in ads, because I do. It's another way to scale it, but it's just the organic marketing. I still think it's the best way to get your brand out there, to get your product out there.
When did everything change for you, Evita? Like, when was that moment in your initial business? What did that look like?
So I'm going back around the COVID times. I was just like, okay, I've always wanted to start a business online. And I was like, okay, I don't have much capital, but what I do have is expertise in product, right? In product marketing. So that's my background. That's what I do in corporate. So I'm like, okay, how can I transform that into business? Because I do know if I want to start something online, I need to somehow have that credibility. And what can I have credibility at this time? It's product marketing. I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I started a product-based business on Instagram because I'm very good at product. That's what people pay me for, to sell their products, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to start this. I had like $500 in my account that I was like, okay, I'm just going to invest that in stock. And then I'm like, I've got no more money for marketing. What can I do? And I'm like, okay, let's try Instagram. So I was like, okay, Instagram. And I remember at that time, like I was posting every day. I was like taking pictures of all my products, but it wasn't hitting. Like it wasn't hitting at all. And I was like, strange. I've like done all the posting. It's not clicking. But there was one moment where it changed everything for me. And funnily enough, it's to do with a Kardashian story, right? A Kardashian Instagram story. from Khloe Kardashian. So she posted like a pantry, that personalized pantry thing.
Yes.
And I looked at it and I'm thinking, that's it. I was like, that's it. I'm trying to blend in with all the other business owners on Instagram, and I don't have that one thing that made me stand out. And I don't know, from that picture, I was like, this is it. This is the one thing that's going to make me stand out. I just knew. And then from that moment on, like I had to like shift the business a little bit to focus on one thing and be that standout person for that area. And as soon as I did, I created a lot of content around it. And because it was so niche and it was only me doing it, I got a lot of traction. And I remember this because I didn't know how to post. I'm not naturally a social media person. I'm not a very big content person. Like, I call myself old school because I'm like, I don't really know how to take videos properly. And I remember asking my daughter, I'm like, can you show me how to create a reel? Or like, can you show me how to do TikTok?
Yeah.
Because I know that if I have to make it, I need to come out of my comfort zone. So she showed me TikTok and she showed me videos. And then there was this one reel that blew up for me on product-based business. And I was like,
And what was
wow.
that? What did that look like? I mean, I'm sure the listeners are curious. First of all, what were you selling in the first business? Because I know now you work with coaches, course creators to help to grow their marketing on Instagram. But before that, and this is what I love as well, I love that, and I don't think it has to always be someone's journey, but I love that you actually did it before you taught it. That's been my journey as well. I was a professional speaker for like 10 years before I ever taught speaking. And I love that you did that. Like, you put in that groundwork, and then you also worked in the space as well in a corporate before that. What was the product you were selling, and then what was the revelation with the Kardashians? Like, what did you actually go, oh my gosh, like, was it a pantry, or what were you dancing in the pantry?
So I used to, originally I was like, okay, I'm going to sell homewares. Homewares product, like anything in the kitchen, anything like vases, like home decor, right? Yeah. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do that. But it's such a big area.
Yes.
And then the Kardashians, or Khloe Kardashian, it was big at that time, the whole pantry. She's got this organized pantry. And I was like, boom, that's it. Well, I used to be a kitchen buyer, so I knew pantry so well. And I was like, that's it. I need to stand out. That's why I'm not clicking on Instagram, because I need to stand out.
You had to own the pantry.
Well, I didn't quite own the pantry, but I was like, I'm going to make everyone in the UK want to have a personalized, organized pantry.
Ah, nice. And so you niched down.
Yes, I did, because people really saw me as like, okay, her content revolved around that. And I was like, right, I'm owning this space. Like, I'm not just doing any other homeware products. I'm focusing on pantry labels, the organized, like, with all the organization and everything. So that bit is what I focused on. And that really started the whole trajectory of my online business.
Yeah, I love that. You mentioned this idea of standing out. And I think that's a big question. In fact, I have literally been wrestling with that over the weekend. And because I feel like there's always levels of that as you grow your business. There's like a new level of, how do I be distinct? How do I stand out? People are probably asking that question as well. What are your thoughts on creating standout in your brand? How have you done it? And then what do you teach some of your clients, some of the strategies on Instagram to actually stand out?
So for me, standing out is finding like an area, like there's different phases and levels of business, right? And I always like to start at an area that I really like know. When I saw the picture, it was that picture that I saw in Khloe Kardashian's story, when I was like, for me, it just clicked. And I knew I know kitchen. And I'm like, okay, let me just narrow it down to kitchen. It is scary, by the way, because I had stock of other home decor stuff. But I'm like, I can't. There's so many people on Instagram selling home decor. But I did a little bit of research as well. There was a market research that I did. And I knew at that time Marie Kondo was big. There was an emerging trend. So I didn't just do it because I felt like it, right? I didn't just like okay, let me just do that now. I did market research behind it. I knew, like I said, Marie Kondo was going big. The whole organizing thing was going like the trajectory was going up. And I was like, that is the market.
Nice. So you saw a bit of a trend
Correct.
and you saw an opportunity to narrow down. And I think that's really scary. I know for me, I got really scared narrowing down, but I almost 4x'd my business in 12 months when I narrowed down. So what you're saying, what I'm hearing, Evita, is that narrowing down in a specific angle or a niche or an area is part of a strategy of standing out. Like that actually makes you stand out
Yes.
in essence.
Yes. Yes, 100%. And I know I'm jumping, like I'm jumping, but it's the same with my business right now because I started with wanting to help a lot of small businesses. I'm like, I'll do your website, I'll do your email. I can literally help you with anything to grow your business,
Yeah.
right? I literally did it. But I was like, there was crickets for like 18 months as I was trying to do it on the side, but there wasn't any traction. It was only when I bravely said, you know what? I'm going to teach what I know. I've grown a business on Instagram. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to show them that you can build a business on Instagram. It was scary because, it's just like you're relying on this one particular area, but I knew I had the expertise. I had the backup for it. And I'm like, right, yeah, I'm going to go all in. And again, it's proven that one thing is that thing that really took off. As soon as I niched down with Instagram, I was like, boom, that's it.
So for you, what I'm hearing is previously it was you narrowed down to like the kitchen, the pantry, organizing that space.
Yes.
Now it was you started kind of general, let me help you grow your business. Let me help you get online or brand. And then you went, no, I need to narrow down and it's only Instagram. Is there anything else? Do you have a specific like avatar? Because I know that you have a lot of coaches and course creators and stuff, but is that your main focus or do you kind of go a bit more general with that? Like how are you niching at the moment?
Yeah. So I, again, originally started with, I just want to help everybody with Instagram, right? That's originally my thoughts because I'm like, you know what? Yeah, come on in. Let me help you. But it's not only when you're actually in programs, when you feel like, you know what? I feel like I can really serve this area of people really, really well if I just focus on an area. So now I've pivoted and just focus on like course creators, coaches, online service providers. So not the product based business. So I've kind of shifted into that as well because I'm all about mastering that area, right? Because for me to stand out, I need to master that area. And for me to be able to do that, I need to focus. And it's different needs. Yes, there is same principles, but in terms of detail, there's difference in like how we deal with product-based business versus service-based businesses.
Yes.
So that's an area that I kind of like took as well. And it has done really, really well for me.
Talk to us about your offerings. Like, do you sell courses? Because I think as a listener, I think it's always cool to explore like my guests' actual offerings as well. Like, do you have, what are your courses? What are your coaching programs? What do they kind of look like for you in your business structure and strategy at the moment?
I have a mixture of courses. Like I don't have a mini offer just as of yet, but that's one thing I've learned about you, Colin. So from you. So it's coming. So normally like the structure of my business at the moment, I have this one signature program.
Beautiful.
That I have like one signature program, again, mastery, right? It's believing that you can, like, I know that I can serve people really well if I choose a segment of that market and I just study that market and then put all of my effort into this one program of always like trying to improve that one program. And then what I do is I will have a mini offer that's launching soon, but eventually it will lead, that mini offer is going to lead to that main offer, which is one thing I learned from you as well.
That's what I love. That's what I kind of recommend for everyone listening is start with a signature offer because that's the thing that's going to make you the most money. It's the thing that's going to serve people at the highest level. And then you can build out other offerings around there, auxiliary ones. But I love that. So what's cool is I know you run a really successful business. You've got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers, but you've got one core offer. And that's kind of
Mm,
like the focus. All roads kind of lead to that core offer. How are you
yes.
launching that at the moment? Do you run webinars? Do you run lives? Like what's
Mhm.
typically the way that you release that?
So at the moment, I've tried various things. Like, bear in mind, by the way, I started my coaching business. This is my first year. So I've only had the business
Like
for first year. So
what? What?
I can't tell you all the other stuff that I've done, but I can tell you what my journey is like. And I'm proud to say though, that yes, I have grown my Instagram following, but the most thing that I'm proud about is hitting 1 million in revenue through Instagram in just a year. That has been
What?
my
Wait,
goal.
what?
Yes, 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 yes. Sorry, I'm digressing.
Evita, I am so excited for you. That is
Thank you.
absolutely incredible. Like you're blowing people's minds right now. Um, that is just so incredible, Evita. Yeah, what does that look like for you?
So, okay, I was just going to explain. So, how it looked like is masterclass do really, really well for me. So, the masterclasses, and then I do like a few masterclasses lead into my offer. That has been the one thing that has worked really well for me. And thank you for your guidance because before you, I was just really not great at masterclasses. I told you my
Yeah.
story about 800 people came in live, and then I literally just blanked. Um, but with your
Yeah.
with your bear, I can now. I'm so confident with
Yeah.
teach like in masterclasses. It felt like I'm delivering value, but at the same time selling my offer.
Yeah.
And a
I love
lot of
that.
that, partly of what I've said, that I've reached that goal because of like launching and masterclasses. And I sell a lot on my stories too. So I do a
Nice. Yeah,
mix
I
of
love
like
that.
launching and stories and my DMs. So I do a lot of selling in the
Mm.
DMs.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, in terms of Instagram, let's take someone, let's say they're at 2 to 3,000 followers. I see a lot of people at that kind of level. They want to grow their Instagram. They're a coach or they're a course creator. They kind of have an idea of their niche. Like, let's say they do have some level of idea of their niche, but they really, like, they're thinking in their mind, I'm a little bit too late to Instagram. Like, is this really going to work? I don't have an ads budget yet. I'm just kind of wanting to grow organically. Like, what could the next 90 days look like for them if they
Mm.
got really focused on Instagram and ran one or two strategies? What could be possible for them?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example, like a real life example of
Love
someone
it.
who's literally, she was stuck at like 1,000. She wasn't growing for years, and she's a corporate coach. You'll find it on my Instagram. You'll find who she is. You'll find a link of who I'm talking about. It's a real person. So
Yeah.
she's got 1,000 followers. She was stuck. Beginning of this year, she asked me, "Oh, Evita, I've got a lot going on. You know, I'm not sure if I can still grow my account. But yeah, I want to try the course." And she did. She enrolled like the whole process. She's gone through the process, and she's literally grown to like 69,000, I believe,
Ooh,
69,000 followers,
that's
right?
insane.
So I'm going to give you how like the top strategy of how she's done that.
Yes.
She literally just said, I just followed Evita step by step.
What you just said then is so profound because I find that with my students as well. Is like if they just follow the structure and follow exactly what you say, obviously there's no absolute guarantee, but a lot of the
Yes.
time, like people get really good results. And so I will
Yeah.
just say as a note, my best experiences with my clients are like they just go, I just did what you said, Colin. I just did what you said, Avita, and it just grew. And it's like, oh my gosh, who would have thought actually following the structure? But anyway, I love this. What's
Yeah,
the
no,
strategy?
Colin, your course, I literally just followed it. Like you are so good at like giving instructions, and I was like, oh, this guy is a genius. He saved me so much of my time. You literally go, do this, do that, do this, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm literally just doing what he tells me to do, and it's
Who
working.
would have thought? What are the
So
strategies that you
okay.
use? Yeah.
So there's different types of content on Instagram. There's, for me, I class it as two types of content. There's content to grow and content to nurture, or nurture leading into sales, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what I see a lot of people do is they focus too much on one type of content, And they never really look at like the content to grow. So say, for example, if you want to grow your Instagram, you need content to grow. You need
Mm.
that. Like it may take some time. I've got ways of how you can find content to grow, but you do need that in your strategy. Like no matter what anyone says, you do need that on your strategy. I still do it now. Like growing is not my focus at the moment because if you're like it depends as well on what phase you're in, whether you're
Yeah.
growing, you're selling or whatever. So I'm not in a growth phase and I'm okay with that, but I do know how to turn on, and a lot of my clients know how to turn on that growth content.
Give me
But
one idea of what that looks like.
okay, so we think we know what our clients want to hear on Instagram, right? The specific way, because bear in mind, Instagram is a different platform to LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. So it's a different way of consuming content on Instagram. That people consume Instagram content differently. The wording, the way you say it, the first 3 seconds of that video, the way you retain people, right? And it's different for different niche. It's different for different people. So there's a lot of that is to do with market research and testing and analyzing.
Hmm.
So for example, I'll give you this corporate coach, right? So
Yep.
what she'd found out through the methodology of how you find things and the research, she knew, or through that, she was able to identify that interview questions worked really, really well for her. Now it's her top of funnel content. It doesn't mean that that's what all she does, but she
Yeah.
knows that she could get 20,000 followers out of one reel.
So when you say, for her example, interview questions, so teaching how to interview or teaching how to answer questions, like because she's a corporate coach.
Yeah, like teaching how to, there's a certain way how you communicate the interview questions, and that's done
Yeah.
through research.
Right. So
Right.
it's
So
like it was a specific topic that really clicked with her
clicked.
audience.
Yes, but she wouldn't know that if she hadn't gone through the research. Because what
Yeah.
we think that, oh, my audience would love this, but we can all assume. But that it's in the data. I'm very big on data because you can really see what you need to do next through data. So I start with always look, market research,
Yep.
look at what your people want to hear. Like I did not want to do Instagram hack I bet you didn't know. That's how I grew my account at the start. Then I was able to find ways of like growing after that as well. I'm from corporate and I'm like, I hold quite a high position in corporate. And here I am on Instagram going, Instagram hack I bet you didn't know. But I was quite strong. I was like, I'm never going to do that. But through my research, time and time again, I was like, okay, at that point in time was working. So let me double down on that. And I had one reel that got me 279,000 followers. One reel.
What?
Yes. Yes, I have the stats. I have the stats to show it. It's in my account. 279,000 out
Oh,
of
wow.
one reel.
That is insane. Exposure, visibility. When something like that happens, how do you manage the visibility that it, because I don't know if everyone has experienced this. I've had this a few times where your visibility goes from like a 1 out of 10 to like a 15 out of 10. And, and you're like, oh my gosh, I am completely flooded. And I also think that is actually one of the reasons why people don't grow is they think that it's just the strategy, but it's actually, and I know that you're big on this as well, is like really working on your mentality and your mindset
100%.
and your emotions. I actually feel like a big part of it is we actually self-sabotage. We don't do the strategy because there's a block. So talk to us
Yes.
about like visibility and just handling that. What's your Instagram right now? I know you're over 500.
So, over 500. Yeah, I'm on
Yeah.
512. Yeah. So I'm there.
512.
Yes.
When you did that massive acceleration journey, what happened in you? What did you notice in you? And then like what are some ways that you've coped with that and acclimatized to it?
hmm I just thank God for all the mistakes that I made beforehand because it has prepared me for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
This is why I'm a big believer of just carry on what you're doing because it may not make sense now. Make all those mistakes because one day it will all make sense. That's what happened to me. That's why I accelerated so fast because of all the mistakes I made prior. And I also I had experience in building a team. So I was quickly able to I know I need help. I know I couldn't do it on my own. So the first thing I did was look at my private life, like obviously my family, because I have kids and
Yeah.
my husband. So sat
You have
my
such a
husband down.
beautiful family. And
Thank you.
yeah. When I see them, I'm like, gosh, Evita's family is beautiful. Like, but anyway, okay, I digress.
Thank you. But it has a lot to do with the people around me. So I sat Phil down and I said, look, I could see my account growing, but I can only manage this if we work together.
Mm,
If we don't work together, I can't. I would, because you're right. It's being, people think, okay, being viral is like going viral, growing your account is great. But it's actually your space to hold it as well, to
yeah.
be able to manage it, to be able to turn it into money. Because I see a lot of accounts grow, but they're not making anything, you
No.
know? But because I had the right people around me, like I spoke to Phil and he agreed to like take on a lot of the responsibilities so I can
Mhm.
focus on what I have on Instagram. And then I had I like put a team together. Like it's a very, very, very small team, but I
Yeah.
know what I was looking for because of the
Yeah.
experience I had with my corporate. So I've used all like the skill sets that I've had from all businesses and from all my failures in the past to this moment, and that's why it accelerated so much. It's not an overnight thing because it never is. But
Mm,
I'm just so thankful that I've gone through everything what I've gone through because when that moment came, it went all into it. I knew instantly how to create Kajabi courses. I learned because did that before. It didn't work
yeah.
before, but it worked now. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, I know all the stuff. So here you go.
Did you find it, and even still find it, like a little bit flooding emotionally to be in front of so many people?
Yes, I do. But I'm very big on protecting my energy. Like I'm
What does
very,
that
very
look
big on
like?
protecting my energy. So I don't, if I know that that's like, for example, I see like some negative comment, right? So
Mm,
I will feel it, but then I'm like, okay, well, I just need, it's how fast I can recover from that moment, and it's also okay. I just sift through, like I put a system in place. Okay, I put like templates in place like very quickly. I'm like, okay, this is how we respond to this people, because chances are people are asking the same thing or people are saying the same thing. So we have like, I've kind of put templates straight away. But in terms of my energy, I really have to like have some time to step away from it all and
mm,
decompress. You don't have to reply to people straight away. They're going to be there. They're gonna be there. I just had to remind myself, like, you built this business because you want this for your family. And you don't want your business to run you. You want to run your
mm,
business. So I've always had that like mentality. I keep on reminding myself that over and over again that, you
yeah.
built this business for you and not your business running you. Because it can
Yeah.
easily be done.
Do you have stops or kind of like things in between you and your audience that help you to just manage it? Because I'll put my hand up and say, like, if I was in my customer service email, and we have amazing customers, but let's be honest, there's always one or two crazy people out there in the world.
Mhm.
And we love the crazy people, but there are crazy people. And you get a lot of that on Instagram, like, especially if you start really scaling, like, people don't know
Mm.
it until you usually hitting, I don't know, for you, but for different clients I've had and us, usually like around that like 50,000 plus, you start getting kind of more and more crazy people. Um, what are some things that you put in place that protect you? Like, do you have someone in your comments, or do you kind of do things where like you don't get exposed to those sort of things as well? Or are
Do,
you still
yes.
in that as well?
Yes, I have someone who goes through my email, I like my DMs and put
Yep.
through like the important ones and delete the ones that are not relevant. So that's the first thing. Actually, it's my husband. Okay, Phil does that
Good
first thing
old
in the
Phil.
morning because I don't trust anyone to go into my DMs at the moment. So Phil does it. So he checks everything, and if there's anything that needs to be dealt with, we've got a great customer service team that we just funnel through
Yeah.
to customer service, and it's not
Yeah.
going to be a back and forth on on your DMs. But that's one way that I really protect my energy if I don't need to be involved. Of course, we do like an audit at the end of the month to make sure that we give the best customer service as possible because it's part of feedback, right? But I
Yeah,
don't want to be
totally.
involved in that moment.
No.
So yeah, it just ruins
Good
my
old
vibe for
Phil.
the day.
I can picture Phil sitting there on his chair with his Guinness, going through
Yes,
the
going through
DMs.
the
What a legend. What a legend.
there are people who go, "Can you marry me?" And Phil was like, "Nope, you're married."
I know I'm married. So good. So good. Okay, great. So I agree because, that sort of stuff can really affect you. Like I get affected by it. I know for us, when I go into a launch, which is basically an explosive exposure
Exposure.
experience, I tell my team, I'm like, don't send me anything negative. Like, if there's something that I need to address, I'll 100% address it. Like, if there's a pattern that's coming through, if there's something that we're seeing over and over again and it's actually an issue, 100%. But if it's just
Mm.
like a crazy person and the more people you're exposed to, the more you get, like,
Mm-hmm.
don't bring it to, I don't even want to know about it
Yep,
because,
same here.
and part of it for me is when you get negative comments, as long as it's not like an absolute consistent pattern of the same thing over and over again, you're like, okay, maybe something's broken in our system. But when you get negative comments, to me, it's an indicator that you're growing. It's an indicator that you're reaching people who don't know you, who don't trust you yet, who have no idea of who you are. And so it's like, oh, things are moving forward. And
Mm.
I know for many people, if the first time they ever run ads or maybe you have a reel that goes viral, it's like you're going to get negative comments. You're going to get stuff that happens. But it really is an indicator of, I go, oh, okay, we're reaching people we haven't reached before. And they're obviously not
Yes.
the right target audience, but it's like,
Mm-hmm,
it's an
mm-hmm.
indicator that we're reaching more people. How do you handle it? Like, you've got templates, you've got Phil, you've got that sort of stuff. Like, there are other things that you do to manage your energy to get you back up into the zone?
Yeah, I have my energy fixes, I call it. Like I've identified stuff that makes me happy, you know?
Mm.
Like what is one thing that really makes me happy? Like say before I record a masterclass or record something or record a reel and I'm in a really bad mood because I've read a comment and I'm like, okay, my whole entire day is ruined. So I have like a pick and mix, I call it energy fixes. Like one of them, and you're gonna laugh, but I absolutely love singing. Singing doesn't like me. I can't hold a tune. So what I'm going to do is I will sing one or two of my favorite songs, blast the music, like really sing, and then just the mood like after it's just different.
I can see that. I love a bit of singing as well. Uh,
Phil doesn't
maybe we
like it, but it really, that's one thing that really lifts me up, and makes me happy. And when my mood is changed, then I can do the reels. And that's so important for me. Like
Now,
finding
I
that
know
what makes you happy.
you're going to do like an in-depth masterclass for our Self from Stage Elite coaching
Yes, I'm so
students. And
excited.
so, we going to start the session singing? Is that, is that
I'm so out of tune, Colin. You would
ah,
not believe. You will not believe this, but I really love it. Like I feel like I'll have this microphone, I'll put YouTube on, I'll put the lyrics on, and I'll just sing to it.
I love
And it looks
it.
crazy, but it absolutely
Oh,
lifts my
absolutely
mood
works.
up.
Yeah. What's
It works.
working right now on Instagram? What's hot right now? What's one or two strategies that you're doing that you're loving to get growth? Let's focus on a growth strategy. What's hot right now, Evita?
So I would really say it's been different for different niche. That's why it's so important. Like market research is
Right.
so important because I can't just say, hey, this is one thing that will work for a corporate coach, but it wouldn't work for a nutritionist. You know what I mean? But what I can definitely say that it is not too late to grow on Instagram. I've like, there was a sleep consultant that I was working with 2 weeks ago, and she's grown her account by like 5,000 in the last few weeks, you know? So it is possible to still use that platform. But what I would say, the reels that I have seen, because obviously with market changes, consumer behavior changes, and the way they consume content also change, like there's a lot more story. You know, the story element works really well.
And you're not
Like
talking about stories, you're talking about the story.
the story, yes, you know,
Yes.
conversion story, yes. but but related in a very simple format, so that seems to work. Like at the moment, you know, with the age thing you put on there because the specificity of it, so that tends to work really well. The
What do you
other
mean by
one
the
that,
age thing? Tell me more.
like, you know, when you go like you say your journey, then you put like, oh, age 29 I did this, and age 30 I did this. Like there's a lot of like that's
That's
been
cool.
working like right now. So I
So
know
that's
that I
very
did that, and that has,
relational, connection based. And it's like, this is the
yes,
journey I've been on. And then like some
yes,
sort of call to action or comment or whatever it is.
yes. So that value that it gives and that connection when you're specific on Instagram. So instead of saying 5 exercises you can do to lose weight, right? Instead of
Yeah.
saying that, you say something along the lines of 5 exercises that you can do every day for 5 minutes to lose 10 kg, something like
Mm,
that. So that
mm,
works, you know?
mm.
Like
Yes.
that really works, the
So
specificity of it.
specificity.
Yes. And
Mm.
because, you know, there's so much content that's been created.
Yeah.
Like there's so much content out there. So you need to stand out. And how you stand
Mm.
out, specificity and your story.
Ah, I love that. What are your thoughts on ManyChat?
Oh,
And
I love ManyChat.
yeah, we love ManyChat as well. Like if someone's not using ManyChat or don't even know what it is, first of all, what is it? And then what are some ways that you use it to grow your
Mm.
following and your conversions even?
Yes. So ManyChat is basically an automation. You can create like a keyword or any words that you can say, like a message, comment the word power, and then it will automatically send you like the link or a link to your website or whatever. It does it for you automatically. So here's a fun fact. There's one reel that I had 11,000 subscribers from, like 11,000 email subscribers from one
Ooh,
reel,
from what? Yeah.
organic.
Okay.
So the power of ManyChats, being able to do that. So what I've done is I combined virality, and the virality then speaks to like whatever they offer that I'm promoting. The way I do it is I reverse engineer it. So say, for example, I've got this offer and I've got the funnel that leads to it as a freebie. And then I would then create a viral reel around that freebie. And
Mm.
then, so that's essentially what happened. Like I create a viral reel, leads into my freebie.
Ah,
But obviously in the comments, I add a little bit of like story, like it makes it more like personal, and then I'll just say comment the word so and so, and I'll send you the link. And
yeah.
from that, because I'm a big believer of, yes, I love Instagram, I do 100%. My business is built around Instagram, but I'm a big believer of building your email list alongside it,
Mm.
because Instagram
Absolutely.
is not our platform.
It's not your platform. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not, we
no,
don't own the platform, should we say?
no. Can you see the like I didn't spend ads to get those email lists. So it's a really, really good lead generation. And you have to be careful though on what reel it is, because you want to pre-qualify the right people that gets into your mailing list, because you don't want to attract the wrong people.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because I've found sometimes the stuff that's gone viral for us, like I've had a few reels go to a couple of million kind of views.
Mm.
And a lot of the time they've been like funny things or
Yes. Yeah.
me, like there was one time I was sitting in bed and then it's like this voice that comes over like, I thought you were going to go to work. And he's like, I'm in my office. Like, can't you see I'm in my office? And he's like lying in bed with his laptop on his and it's like that went just like crazy, but it's not really like focused on my target audience or anything like that. And we got a lot of
Yes.
followers from it, all that sort of stuff. But it obviously is a lot of just general people.
Mm.
So are you okay with that occasionally, or like, do you kind of go, no, focus a bit more niched? Like, what are your thoughts on like jumping on trends
Mm.
versus narrowing your focus on like your audience and your target message?
There is a way, I'm a big believer of there is a way to merge trend and speaking to your target audience,
Mm,
right? So I don't personally just do funny videos to create funny videos. Like
yeah.
I will create a funny video or I will encourage my clients to create funny videos, but it needs to speak to their target audience. It needs to be relatable to them. And there's ways of doing that.
Mm,
Like the way you create your hooks need to really grab them. You could put like, I see memes that do really, really well, especially like in terms of conversion, because I've trialed this with other clients. They would use like a really strong hook, still a funny meme, but a really strong hook that would get people read the caption. And from the caption, they would then like follow whatever the next call
and
to
when you
action
say the
is.
hook, do you mean what's printed on the actual visuals
Right.
of the post, or the first line of the post at the top?
So I always say that a hook is your first 3 second of the video, whether it's text based,
Great.
whether it's visual hook, it's a mixture of both.
You can take a viral meme that might be going viral that you want to jump on the
Mhm.
back of, but you tweak it with the hook to be focused at your target audience.
Yes, correct. Or you can search for viral hooks, but add the specificity of it to speak to your target audience.
So, like, for example, my thing of where I'm in bed on my laptop kind of thing, we could have a hook on the front, like, the life of all online course creators.
Absolutely. Yeah, but a little bit more funnier than that. But yes, like you can do like something that would speak to them, like they're a pain point of course creators. Like that you can link into you being in the bed. So
Mm,
because you're calling out your target audience
yeah,
rather than just putting like, oh, this is me in bed working like this. But
yeah.
if you mention that like course creator and put like the pain point on there, then that becomes a really strong reel for converting the right people.
Right. I love that. I love that idea. Stories specifically,
Mm.
selling in stories. Give us a kind of some footnotes on the opportunity that's there right now.
Yeah, stories is great for conversion. Like I always say, stories that go people, oh Evita, my story views has dropped, like from like 100, it's gone to like 30. And I'm like, stories is not a growth strategy. Yes, you can grow if you tag something or whatever, but essentially it's not a growth strategy, it's a
Mm,
conversion strategy.
yes.
And what you need to focus on are the 40 or 20 people that are there because they're your
Mm,
hottest leads,
yeah.
right? They're your hottest leads. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing I would say is use all the engagement stuff, like the polls, the stickers. Here's a tip as well that has worked for me and has worked for my clients. Like if you put like a poll, say for example, I'm looking for three coaches who wants to transform their who wants to lose weight in 10 days,
Yeah.
right? And you give them options like, yeah, that's me, or B, no, that's not me, and whatever. If you direct them on what to say, like the people want it easy. You don't want to go, what is your biggest problem in
Yeah.
life? Like you don't want that. You just
Totally.
want like, okay, pick 1, 2, 3. And from that, when they click, you start your DM strategy.
You've got a lead. Yeah, right away.
You've got a lead. Are they cold audience? Are they warm audience? Are they hot audience? And then you speak to them differently through that. And so that's what I use like on stories that has worked for me really well is using a lot of engagement tools. And it
Yeah.
signals Instagram as well that, hey, this story must be great because people are clicking. So it gets you in front of the Instagram, like the one on top, it gets you first.
I
So
love that. I think I forget to do that sometimes. I'm like just posting stories. I feel like I'm pretty consistent with stories, but I'm like, I forget to use a lot of the tools.
yeah, yeah.
And
What's a good thing, Colin? Sorry to interrupt, but what's one good thing? Whilst I remember, like if you're having a story rest, right? So you're having a story reset when you've not posted for 24 hours because that can boost your story up 24
right.
to 48 hours. What I do is start with a really strong question, a strong question, so people click or people heart or whatever. Like
Yeah.
they need to like click on like that first slide, and then it signals the algorithm that, hey, that story is interesting.
And then it keeps flowing through.
Yeah, it keeps flowing through, and they'll see it's great if you're like launching, or it's great
Yeah.
if you've got an important announcement, because then a lot more people would say it's the same. For example, if you're giving away like a freebie in your story and tell them to comment the word free, that also boosts your,
Sure.
boosts the algorithm.
Yeah, I love it. I love this conversation, Evita. Instagram for me is my favorite platform to be on personally out of all the platforms, even though we post and run ads and all that sort of stuff on most of the platforms. Actually, no, when I think we're only on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at the moment. There are kind of three things. But for me personally, Instagram's like the place that I hang out. Like if you DM me, you'll probably get me answering, or Phil. I'm about to contact Phil.
Can I mention that one of the reasons why I signed up to your program, because I saw one of your ads. I don't know what it was. Oh, I think I heard you in a podcast, and I was like, I must follow this man. He is amazing. And then I looked and I was like, okay, I commented, and I wasn't going to join. And I was like, yeah, I've commented. I'll come back. And then, because I thought it was ManyChat, right? Because it was like some ManyChat. I thought, oh, okay, I'll come back to it. But you know what you did? You voice noted me, and you really had that personal touch. And I'm like, take my money now. I'm in.
Do you regret that now, Evita?
No, I love it. I love being in your world. I just think you are amazing. But I honestly, that night, I was like, I'll get back to it when I need to or whatever. But you voice noted me and said, hey, Evita, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm in.
So good. So good. Well, I'm on Instagram. That's my platform. That's where I hang out.
I love it.
So good. So good. Evita, this has been so helpful. We've covered some great strategies on growth, stories, visibility, mindset stuff, your journey. I think it's been incredibly helpful and practical. There's a bunch of people who, first of all, will want to learn more from you. And I know you have a free group where you teach more strategies and so forth. I'll put a link in the show notes for that. But what's the purpose of that group?
So it's pretty much like giving you tips on how you can get more clients on Instagram, because it's such a powerful platform. So I give you the step-by-step and how you can do that. So go check it out. There's so many resources there that could help you grow on the platform. Yeah,
go and check that out now. If you're on your phone listening, go to the show notes, click on it, and go and join the group because it's free. And Evita's a rock star. Also, if you found this helpful and valuable, take a screenshot of the podcast, put it in your stories, tag Evita. And I think, Evita, you are Evita_social. Is that right?
Yes, correct. Yep.
And then Colin Boyd, you can just tag me as well. And I would love to hear what's been most useful, most helpful from our conversation today. Evita, what's one final encouragement you would leave for our coaches, course creators who are listening? They're like, this is exciting. I'm going to go for it. But they're scared. What's your final encouragement for them to get out there and give this a go?
Yeah, just go for it. Just go for it. I'm not just saying it because, obviously it's true because I've walked the walk, but also a lot of my clients are doing the same thing. One had 169 followers in February, and now she's got 60,000 followers. Come on. And you can see all of this on my profile. Yeah. They're real people. And if they hadn't started, and if they were like, oh, I'll deal with that later, they're not going to be in the place that they are now. So messy actions, just do it.
And I will say, I will end on this, that sort of stuff is life-changing for people. It's not just about the followers. It's about the visibility that you get. And I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk. He says that attention is the new economy. And the people who own the attention own the economy. And the more attention you can get, and Instagram is a fantastic platform for that, the more economically viable your life will be, your business will be, and all those sort of good things. So, Evita, it's such a pleasure having you on the podcast. It's a pleasure having you in our world, in our programs. And, it's just an honor to be a part of your journey. And thank you so much for sharing everything that you have with our audience. I'm sure they've loved it. So, guys, go and connect with Evita. Go and follow her. Let us know what's been most helpful. Bye for now.